Hello and good evening, everybody. Good morning, actually. It's kind of early, depending on what part of the world you're in, to steal Verbalocity's intro. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on which time zone you are in. Nevertheless, I'm Zyden, my co-caster Verbalocity, over there to my right on screen. We're going to bring you today the Smite Supreme Deities Tournament out of Brazil. That's it, Verb. How you doing today?
Not too bad. A quick little update for those of you wondering where this even came from. The idea for this traditionally was we saw that, there's a growing scene in Latin America right now, and also the other places we may try and do some other tournaments if we can, but no one's doing English casts, so we thought, why not? We were able to get our clients done, and now we're able to bring you some of this new fun meta with the Latin America, this kind of thing. This would be interesting. Let's see if we can get the fabled first pick, first ban Hades that is so famous in Latin America right now. What do you think, Jordan?
I don't think it's actually famous. It was just that one video that was deceptively making him famous.
I've seen it 3 times. I have actually seen it 3 times.
Have you?
The first pick ban Hades. It is quite silly.
I looked through some matches that these teams we're going to be seeing today have played. There is a lot of odd picks coming out in odd locations. There's also quite a few gods who are just standard fare. Like looking at this game right now, there is a Neith in here. A little out of the ordinary. But there's the regular Ram, Ra, Jean-Qui, Odin, Gab. There's a lot of stuff that's pretty similar across the board. It's not entirely different picks and bans lineups.
Yeah. And at least right now, in terms of speaking of the bans, unfortunately we weren't able to show you this particular one because, client being clienty. So, we're still going to be trying to deal with that, same client, same problems. No, different client, same problems, different client, I believe it should be. Yeah, but at least looking in the picks and bans in top left, top right, you can see that Eternal Rally opted to get rid of the Freya, the Mercury, and the Janus. So with that is going to be a good amount of mobility cut off the board early, which is probably for the best considering looking at the picks here for Eternal, unless the client decided to flip them round, that would be wonderful. It looks like we're going to be seeing a very immobile-ish comp, a lot of long-range presence potentially, but looking at Jean-Qui, Vulcan, they're not exactly the fastest people in the world, Joden.
Yeah, definitely not. Vulcan has a decent amount of semi-global presence with his Earthshaker ultimate. He can fire that from a good distance away, zone some people out. If he hits someone from far away, a good amount of damage, but other than that, really only World Weaver from Neith has an ultimate presence in this game, or excuse me, a global presence in this game. On the other side, we do have a Ram as well, so a little bit of a semi-global presence for Ragnarok, but for the most part, we're not seeing the typical Athena. We're not seeing, what other globals are there? No Nuwa. Nuwa was actually banned, so that's out of the table, but no Thor either, actually picked or banned, surprisingly. Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're still waiting through a pause until this comes out. It looks like Arcade actually had a DC, unfortunately, so as soon as good old Sylvanas comes back, or should I say Grover? I think Sylvanas just sat in the fountain thinking, hang on, where's Grover? Yeah. As soon as he comes back, we'll be able to actually get into the game. But at least we can actually run down some of the picks, at least until the actual on-pause comes back. So Shoden, walk us through Eternal Rally.
Yeah, for Eternal Rally, on the blue side of the map, we do have Suzuki playing the support Geb. Yurei as I believe I should pull my cheat sheet up so I know who is playing what role, because we can't currently see what items they've picked up. No Death Toll or Bumba's Mask to cheat and tell us who is going where. So it will be Yurei as the jungle Odin, Schultzen as the mid lane Jean-Qui, Stalker as the solo lane Vulcan, and Arcanjo as the AD carry Hunter Neith.
And meanwhile, their opponents coming down from the north in the red trunks defending the Titan of Order. We have Team Ragnarok. We have Arcade on the Sylvanas. He's not going to be in the game just yet. We have, and let's see if I can get this, Madragado. No, that wasn't it. How do you know how to pronounce that?
Madragado.
How's it? Madragado. I've been rehearsing that name for about 3 minutes now, and I still can't do it. So, Madragado on the Nemesis. We have Craterbola on... It's not Craterbola like I first said it. Don't do that. It's on the Ra. We have Single on the Chuck, and finally we have Ext on the Ram. And I was relying on the items as well, but then also I'll pull up my own cheat sheet. Madragado is usually the jungler, Arcade is the support on Sylvanas. We've got Single on the solo Chuck, we've got Poofy. Oh, Poofy isn't actually, he's been switched with Craterbola. And he's going to be going mid. And then finally we have the Ext on the, usually on the AD carry role, and he will be pulling out the Ram, so that is going to be them all suited and booted. So at least right now, looking at the way things are going, in terms of the raw picks, I have a small suspicion, just a small one, that some anti-healing may be required on the part of Eternal Rally.
Yeah, definitely. Once or twice in a recent past, we've seen some teams decide that, hey, you know what, we can deal with it. And then you look at the healing after the fact, and it's like, oh, collectively the enemy team healed for like 60,000 damage, and they healed up the damage from like 3 of our gods total, and it just doesn't work out. So at the very, very least, I expect a weakening curse to be coming out off of, well, maybe not Suzuki necessarily, possibly Yuri picking it up as a second active. Geb will probably, you want to have a blink on him generally, so you can use blink to initiate with Cataclysm, and of course you need that Wrath of the God to make sure you can secure those Gold Furies as well as Fire Giants later on in the game.
That is true. Although, bear in mind, Odin's Cage does naturally have the anti-healing, and they have the potential for a very scary wombo combo. Of course, Vulcan got through, so it appears even across the world, Vulcan is still not getting banned. Who knows why? Because if Vulcan does well, of course, you know, that being tradition, not even on the UGL anymore, you just see massive amounts of damage come out from Vulcan these days. But back onto the original point, Odin, plus Geb Initiation, then you've got Earthshaker and Zhongqi just able to walk into the cage and start plowing their ultimates in. And on top of that, just look at the team comp that Ragnarok has. Just look at it for a second. So we've got... Let's go top to bottom, shall we? We've got Arcade, mainly a healer. We have Madrigado on Nemesis, which is mainly attack speed. Then we have Crater Bola on a Ra, who has big healing potential. Then we got Single, who is both healing and attack speed. And finally, we have Ext on the Ram, who is attack speed. All of that gets shut down by the Odin Cage.
That's true.
I wish we could have seen the picked and banning section, because I would have liked to have seen if the Odin pickup was a first pick or if it was a counter pick. If it was a counter pick, that would have been a very shrewd counter pick by Eternal Rally. I mean, what do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, definitely. It's a... If it wasn't a counter pick, then Ragnarok, I think, might have screwed up a tiny bit in their picking phase, if that was like a first pick Odin or something to that effect. Because to pick that much healing into someone with Odin with anti-healing, I think, a little rough, especially given that Ra and Sylvanas both have no escape out of a cage.
That is true.
Rom can throw himself up in the Astral Barrage, Chalk, if he has Thunderstrike and Torrent off cooldown, he can use those to get out of the Ring of Spears. And Madrigadu, lockdown as well, no way to get out of there. So...
That is... So I'm interested to see how Ragnarok deal with this, because potentially, if they get outbuilt and don't try and really attempt to counter it back, that is going to be some shenanigans coming out of Eternal Rally, and Ragnarok won't have that much to really bite back with, because all of their bite would have been declawed, or detoothed, if you will. Because, at least if in theory, that we can talk about this for as long as we want, but until this pause comes out, there is something else to mention. The player skill. Either of us, at least, me or Joden, haven't really seen these players that much, so yeah. And also, just on the day, player skill does come into this. I believe this particular tournament is playing for a spot at Worlds, if I'm not mistaken, Joden.
This particular tournament is kind of the equivalent of the SPL, so to speak. The SPL in North America and Europe was a like 7-8 week tournament in a round robin format where the top team as far as wins went advanced on. The top was the top 4 teams went on to regionals. The bottom 2 dropped down to wildcards. This tournament is just a straight double elimination. You lose in the main bracket, you drop down to a second lower bracket. You lose a second time, you're out of the tournament. So if you win in that lower bracket, you can fight your way back up. But if you reach the finals, you are down a 1-game penalty. So it's pretty disadvantageous. It's not in your best
disadvantageous.
Interest. That's the word.
That's the word you're looking for.
Disadvantageous to end up in the finals out of that bottom bracket, because you go into it with you go into it 1 game down, which is less than ideal when essentially you're looking at a seat into Worlds where you could potentially win $1 million. As well as just even going to the LAN, which will be coming up in December at the Sao Paulo Comic-Con, I believe it is, where they're fighting for 40,000 Brazilian real, which is approximately 15,000 US dollars, about 9,800 British pounds. Too many B countries today, apparently.
All of the heartbeat. It's kind of like Cumbracana Cabracken for me. For you, it's the countries today.
Yeah. We're not good with names here. It's going to be an ongoing issue all day today, more likely than not.
I was going to say, you think we're bad with the regular EUNA names at the EGL? Just wait for today.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. So...
Yes. So, hopefully this pause comes off soon.
Indeed.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe this might be a spectator bug, but I believe Level Up are going to be using the same rules as Smite game. You're only allowed so many pauses, and I think by those standards, Team Ragnarok are very close to using all their pause time, Joden.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like it is going to be a bit of a long one, though, guys. We're going to go ahead and cut to a quick wait screen. We'll be back as soon as we can when we get this game underway. Stick around, and for now, enjoy the music.
You're back.
Hello and good evening, everyone, or morning or afternoon, whatever it is appropriate. We're back. We have a game finally. We're gonna get things rolling here. I'm Zayden here with my co-caster Verbalocity. We have a game finally, Verb. And it helps push talk. I forgot. I was talking all excited, and then you didn't answer, and I was like, wait, oh yeah, I pushed that button.
Yeah, it does help if you do that.
Yeah. So we have a game finally.
Hey! So, yes, the Eternal Pause is finally finished and Arcade is back. So, huzzah. Oh, let's get underway here. Looks like everyone's going to be just doing the fairly standard gambit, I'd say. Although, let's look, it's nice that we'll have to see what sort of little individual things, because Latin America does do a couple things differently here and there to what we're used to. They like to go for more offensive style of support warding, like we're seeing here. Geb and Sylvanas immediately just sort of slapping each other a couple of times. They're not doing much damage, but slapping each other nonetheless.
Those little slap fights are always amusing. They don't accomplish a whole lot of anything, but nevertheless they are amusing.
Yes.
Is that a brain in a jar?
That is, oh yeah, that's the Halloween ward. So, Joden, introduce us to Eternal Rally.
Eternal Rally, left side of your spectator wearing those blue trunks, defending that Titan of Order. We have Suzuki playing to support Geb, Yurei as the jungle Odin, Schultzen as the mid lane Zhangqi, Stalker as the solo lane Vulcan, and Arcanjo as the AD carry Hunter Neath. How about Ragnarok, Verb?
Ragnarok coming down from the north. In the red trunks, defending the Titan of Chaos, we have Arcade on the support Sylvanas. Alright, solo lane, yeah, support Sylvanas going to be teaming up with one Ext on the Hunter Ram. Then we have Madrago on the Nemesis Jungle, going to be teaming up with one single on the Chuck solo. And finally, we have Kratobola on the mid lane. So it looks like early up here we're not seeing any sort of really big shenanigans, although we do see the Heartseeker coming out of, the Morningstar, excuse me, coming early out of Eternal Rally's Arcanjo, and a little bit of aggression also with the duo lane.
Yeah, it's a little bit of early harassment. They have to watch out. Yurei and Vulcan, between the two of them, have a lot of potential bursts. If Vulcan can get a backfire off on top of a bird bomb, they're going to take a lot of damage early. I expect more likely than not, Yurei is just going to be looking to use the Raven shot lunge combo just to wave clear initially, just to help out a little bit until he leaves off into the jungle. But, yeah, just pop out one more time just to clear up those archer minions. They're doing pretty good. They have a lot of wave push, and with that Vulcan turret also, Ragnarok can't actually really leave the vicinity of their tower right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bit of a point to bring up, because the early push that Ram and Sylvanas potentially have is going to be counteracted by the fact that if they want to harass, Geb's shield is there to help. Speaking of which, it looks like it is on cooldown right now. He actually didn't level into it, which is interesting. Suzuki opting to go with the rollout and the shockwave instead of only just leveling the shield now as he hits level 3. So interesting call there. If he leveled the shield, he probably could have prevented some damage, but it looks like they just wanted to get rid of those early camps a little bit quicker there, Joden.
Yeah, Arcanjo's a little bit low, has already used up all her health potions, so she's got to be careful going forward down this lane. That said, Stone Shield is now online, so any little potential incoming burst damage with a well-placed shield will be avoided, so there's always that on the table. Right
lane though, little bit of aggression coming out here. Shingle gets reduced to about half health, but he does have enough sustain to avoid most of the damage, or at least mitigate it for now. And with that, things are just kind of chugging along nicely here, Joden. No real gold advantage, everything's just kind of going wave to wave here.
Yeah.
But, oh, hang on a second. Oh, I just noticed this. Nemesis and a Zhonghui on opposing teams. For those of you who aren't aware, Nemesis is a straight hard counter to Zhonghui. So let's see if Madarago can actually really put the pain down on Schultz early, Joden.
Yeah, as soon as that Recall Demons is online, Nemesis is going to be looking to save her Divine Retribution. Divine Judgment. Divine Judgment for Zhonghui. Recall Demons doubles the amount of protection he gets out of his Demon Bag passive, so with the protection stripping percentage base that Nemesis does have, Zhonghui bumps up his protections, Nemesis strips him right back down, makes herself a hell of a lot more tanky on the back of it, so it's a bit of a hard counter. Ring of Spears coming down left side for
Dory is very long man and needs to be careful here. There's the Wrath Terror being deployed. In comes the Recall Demons. Crabbo doesn't have enough health to really use the snipe, but Schultzen will pick up Madrigado for the first blood there. And with that, left Harpies are going to get picked up here by Eternal Rally along with First Blood. But right lane Harpies, mid lane, right side Harpies, Stalker tried to go for a steal, but wasn't able to get in the end because it was 3-on-1. And Vulcan does okay damage in the beginning, but not enough to really go for a steal when the Harpies are at half health.
It's still enough damage to put him at the top of the chart.
Yes, that is true. Oh, right now, looking at the way things are going in terms of golden XP with that First Blood, that is going to give Eternal Rally a little bit of a gold difference, or an advantage, I should say. 468 gold, but XP is actually equal here. It's just dipping up and down on the graph right now. It's essentially wave to wave in that regard. But taking a look at the builds here, Joden, Neath Transcendence. Huh. I honestly would have expected a standard start out of the Archangel Neath, although to an extent I guess Neath is more of a caster AD carry than a real early auto attacker like say Ram or to an extent Ulu. So seeing the Transcendence does make sense now that I think about it. I mean, what do you think, Joden?
It's still that single most powerful physical power item that's going to build up to a lot. The mana will of course help. At least the mana won't hurt, to say the least. I'm curious if she's going to be looking to follow that with Nasty, just for the lifesteal, a little bit of extra penetration and attack speed on that, or if she's going to look to go for a double stack and pick up the Devourer's Gauntlet as a next item. Probably after boots, though.
Yeah, we might even possibly see that much lauded build right now of Unicorn, the critless hunter build that seems to be sort of making a bit of a trend right now. And we'll have to see if they actually decide to go that way. For those who haven't heard of it, it was a build, I believe, was it thought up by Crit? I think it was, although I could be wrong on that. Essentially, the point of it is no crit hunter mainly relies on penetration to get through what is essentially 50% damage mitigation naturally by the end of the game. So it's more of a late game focused build, but looks like mid lane though, a bit of aggression coming out, Shonen.
Yep, Zhonghui getting a first path to his tower a little bit. It did, I believe, pop the Recall Demons in the middle of that one. But he's putting some damage back onto Ra. He's going to look for this kill here. Potentially Nemesis is here. He's got to be careful. Nemesis is looking for the kill now. One more slice and dice, or Swift Judgment either way could pick up that kill. Cheating and looking at Swift Vengeance. Will find the kill. Second one going to Yurei over in that... There was an Odin. Sylvanas who died somewhere as well. Actually finding the left lane. Missing that one entirely. Go me. As double kill coming out there, both X and Arcade getting picked up by the gank there by Yurei. So good stuff by them. They could, but a little early. There's no Wrath of the Gods on the table right now either. But I think they waited a little too long if they wanted to go for a gold. Go for it, Gold Fury.
Go for it. Yeah, that's the brand new Latin America exclusive raid boss. Gold Fury is taken out. It's literally just like a mole that's been painted gold. You know, just Joden thing. But right now we're going to be seeing, in terms of the itemization, Zhonghui, Schultzen opting to go with staying with essentially double starter items here, but actually never mind, we'll talk about that in a second. Mid Harpies are up for contention here. Right side is going to get taken by Odin, but left side, who actually grabbed that? I was actually watching Odin there. There's a bit of a scuffle.
It looks like it did go to Ragnarok.
It did, yes. But as I was saying, it looks like the Tiny Trinket sort of faux starter item will be coming out here. And Schultzen is most likely going to go for a Warlock Sash, although he could maybe go Ethereal. Although considering he's mid lane, he can stay to farm. Warlock should be more likely, because it does give you more overall under 4,000 health, but it takes like 17 minutes to stack up.
Yeah, and he could potentially look for both, as the more health you get on Zhonghui when you double that protection from the demon bag, you do become that much more survivable, and you can just hit recall demons, hold forward, and kill people.
Yeah, it looks like Gold Fury, a little bit of aggression going in the fight, in the Gold Fury, excuse me. Down comes the Odin Cage, Yore forced to use a good his might in the shield. Wisps comes out, incredible, uses the Searing Pain, will not connect. You see now on the back foot, in comes the Ragnarok to poison, beautiful! Nature's Wrath Cataclysm coming out in response, multiple ultimates being popped here, in comes Recall Demons and Divine Judgment, but Schultzen gets the double kill on Arcade and Kratabola. But Archangel also picks up X over on the left side near the left lane jungle. With that collective triple kill, actually, yeah. 3-0. In comes the Earthshaker by the Vulcan here. Let's see if they can grab the Gold Fury here.
They got the Gold Fury, or they did not steal the Gold Fury, but now Single rotating in was looking for some damage. Stormcoil was used, but gonna be forced to just run away from that one. You still don't want to stick around in the middle of a 1v5, even if a bunch of them are low. You might pick off one or two, potentially, but they might just lock you down with their crowd control, and you just end up horribly dead. No, yeah, there's a teamfight UI, guys. I may not remember to put that up, ever. Because, you know, yeah, good streamer production stuff here.
Production values.
Indeed.
Gotta get the two-man show, though. But right now, at least, we're gonna be seeing the... Ooh. Looks like we're gonna be seeing the Book of Thoth Vulcan in solo lane. I mean, he does have decent enough sustain with the use of the... not only the Tiny Trinket, but also Vampiric Shroud. But looking at the skill leveling here, looks like Stalker's opted to build Backfire first, Cannon second, and is going to leave Magma Bomb for last. Interesting there. I mean, Vulcan is very versatile with all three of his skills. So you can level him in any number of ways, but considering he's solo, it makes sense he's going to level the Cannon because he needs his lane presence, and it needs to be potent, Joden.
Yeah, against someone like Shock as well, he really cannot clear those turrets if they're placed well. He has to walk through them and take a couple shots from it before he can get in range. You don't want to use your Thunder Strikes to clear the turrets as Shock. You want to save those for wave clear and occasional harassment on Vulcan himself, not just his turret. So I like the fact that he picked up the Magma Bomb instead. He left the Magma Bomb at 1 rank, so just to have it, he has the knockback as the Recall Demon Spears coming down ever.
Down comes the Searing... Oh, sorry, there's the Cataclysm coming out off the Wrath and Terror. Searing Pain's gonna hit with Schultzen, but he has enough protections out of the Recall Demons. He just had enough time on that to get double protection, so he's gonna be allowed to live here, at least for now. And no one's gonna get picked up in that fight yet, but a little bit of argy-bargy over at the right side of mid-Harvey camp. That is gonna get picked up by Eternal Rally. And now there's more contention over the mid lane. Earthshaker is going to get deployed. Will it hit? No, it won't. Beautiful Book of Evil stun there by Zhonghui, but he is very low on mana here. Stalker coming in the back line, looking for Kratabola. One more turret attack with the backfire buff. Will pick up Kratabola there. And now Single going to be careful here because the Woe Weaver is propped and him will hit him. In comes the Stormcoil. He's going to pick up Schultzen right off the bat. Suki going to be forced to retreat out of here. There comes the... Oh, nice use of the Cataclysm on top of the Stone Shield. Going to allow him to retreat. Stalker might try and look for a Magma Bomb, but he hasn't leveled it up, so that is probably not going to kill. And with that, that fight is going to wash with only a 1-for-1 trade being dealt in that fight there.
Yeah, it was a pretty extended team fight too. Surprisingly, only 2 falling all said and done. So some good team fights coming out of both teams. Score a little deceptive. Eternal Rally has picked up quite a few kills, but their team fight presence is not bad in the slightest.
And looking at the way the lanes are going right now, Ragnarok is not having the best of time in lane. Their towers are taking a good bit of damage. But bear this in mind, looking at their comp, if they don't get counter-built against quickly, I mean, just look at the items. We're not seeing a single weakening curse coming out by Eternal Rally. Looks like they're relying on Yore with the Ring of Spears for the anti-heal, but you really don't want to just rely on that, because Odin can't be everywhere at once. The Ragnarok sustain, like in those fights we saw. Once the Odin Cage goes down, that's your ace in the hole gone for that fight, and the sustain will just start stacking against you longer and longer the fight goes on. And if these fights keep going on like that, with only a couple people dying, Ragnarok will take them. It's just a case of attrition.
Yep, and just look at the items picked up too. Both Schultzen and Stalker do have that tiny trinket on. Those both could potentially be Divine Ruins later on. Yuri blinking forward under the tower. Ring Spears coming out. Earthshaker coming down as well now. Recall Demons down. This is going to be real bad potentially for Ragnarok. That's a lot of damage. Ooh. Cataclysm coming in now as well. Locking him down. Now Stalker from behind the tower. Going to find that kill into Ra. Front line of the fight though. Single rotating around. Finds the kill into Yuri. Yuri took a lot of damage taking the tower. Getting some damage from the Zhang Gonna find it, but the rotation from Sylvanas, they're not going to look to continue that particular dive.
Yeah, so with that, that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Eternal Rally. Right now, Eternal Rally doing a good job with the rotations, and that Odin pickup, yes, it died there, but he got a lot of people in that ring and allowed things like Stalker's Ultimate, like the Cataclysm, to be super effective right now. It appears the picking stage went very well for Eternal Rally. Looks like the pull will pull towards Arcade, but you know, Schultzen is going to be able to get out because Arcade's it's actually He only has 28 mana to his name, so he's going to be forced to retreat. He doesn't even have enough mana to lay down Verdant Growth to get some mana per 5. And with that, everyone's just going to go back to their lane, start farming up. Jungle camps are coming back up here, so both of the mid camps are going to get taken by Eternal Rally. So that is going to put the Golden XP starting to build momentum in their favor here, Shodan.
Yep, currently sitting up 4,600 gold, 6,600 experience. Looking at the levels as well, it's about a 1 to 2 level lead for everyone on Eternal Rally right now, which is not quite uncontrollable right now. We have to watch out for that in these fights. They're a little bit ahead. They'll be doing a bit more damage with those extra ranks and skills. Item-wise, we touched on a little bit the healing coming out of Ragnarok, kind of making up that difference though in these fights. There's really no anti-healing on the side of Eternal Rally right now. They could potentially build off on Zhang Vulcan out of those tiny trinkets. The heavy mace on Yuri's Odin could potentially be a Brawler's Beatstick, more likely than not that'll be a Odin's Wrath, just for the extra cooldown reduction, a little bit of mana and stuff. There you go, Bringer Spears down left side jungle.
Yep, 4-man rotation coming out by Ragnarok. It's going to be a full 5-man once Chuck gets back, but can he get back in time? This fight is just going to be a little bit of a standoff until Yuri decides to go in, or if Arcade can get a pick with his blink. Nice use of the combination blink by Eternal Rally. Now the fight has begun. Schultz picks up Kradavala with the Recall Demons in the Book of Evil. It's channeling it. It's going to hit Arcade and Madarago for a good bit of damage. Chuck coming in for the assist as well. Let's see if they can reinforce in time. Arcanjo picks up X over in the jungle. Oh, sorry, over in the left lane, excuse me. Madarago is very low here. In comes Single with the Storm Coil. It's going to do a good bit of damage, but the Stone Shield from Geb will prevent a good bit of that on top of Yuri. Arcanjo picks up Madarago. Oh my, things are looking very dire here for Ragnarok. In comes the Odin Bomb. Will it find home? No, it won't, but Shelton picks up Arcade with the Book of Evil. And that is going to be a 4-for-0 trade in favor of Eternal Rally. That was a very nice combination of engagement there, Joden.
Yeah, and that was a second engagement there. They burned the Ring of Spears early, went back in with the Blink Cataclysm coming out, as well as a Raven Bomb blink on Odin. It worked very, very well. Obviously, coming out of there with 4 kills, no deaths. Singles rotating around, looking to steal this web potentially. Ragnarok's tower is under attack. They didn't take the gold here, but Signal could potentially pick up a couple kills here. We do see Schultzen and Suzuki a little bit low in the back. Signal finding one for the time being. Gold Fury is low, below that threshold. No Wrath of the Gods right now. Suzuki is dead. Gold Fury will have been reset. Good denial of that by Single. Now Ragnarok's looking to take it away.
Yeah, it was very low, but it's going to get reset and start getting hacked away here fairly quickly, and Eternal Rally all forced to retreat, and Stalker burned his ult trying to get that Gold Fury down in the first place, so he doesn't have it to try and steal, so that will go in favor of Ragnarok. They are going to start pulling the Golden XP slowly but surely back in their favor here, Joden.
Yep, after that rather kind of crazy team fight and Gold Fury fight, down to only a 5,000 gold lead for Eternal Rally. Experience still sitting up quite a bit, about 9,000 for that, but little by little, Ragnarok can potentially bring this back around to their side. They gotta be careful though with these fights. That healing we've been talking about, only a Divine Ruin now on Zhang Kui. It's gonna help, but will it be enough? That will be the question going into these next team fights.
And right now, Singles is making use of his time, pushing in the solo lane quite significantly here. He's actually going to do a good bit of damage before Stalker actually gets back to lane, although he's going to stop punishing him here with a good bit of damage. And Single actually goes behind the tower here. Good decision to keep the minions from coming in. Will force Vulcan to deal with the minions on his own, and they're going to get stripped of gold a little bit. And at least, oh, hang on, rotation coming in here. Looks like Singles might have actually overstayed his welcome here. Storm Call coming down. Let's see if he can survive, Joden.
There's that World Weaver coming in as well. That's going to stun him down in place. That was pretty large charge as the Earthshaker and a final hit by Schultzen. Going to clean that one up. Gotta be careful about the proxy farming, especially when you have no vision. You stick around for a moment too long. Left lane, though, fight coming out. Arcangelo actually finding a kill on her arcade there with the help from Suzuki. They did burn the Cataclysm for that one, but found a kill in the end. Yeah, proxy farming is fine, but you need a lot of vision to be able to do so safely. There's currently no wards for Ragnarok on the right side of the jungle. He had no idea anyone was coming and just got caught out and picked off because of it.
Yeah, and with that, that is going to start giving Eternal Rally good control over that solo, because Vulcan's going to be able to get back before Singles... I keep thinking he's called Shingles because of the way he spelled his name. Yeah, Shing's actually got an NLA Smurf. True science fact. But in all seriousness, if Singles is not going to be able to get back to lane before Stalker can, but Stalker's going to opt to instead rotate over for what might be a possible fight in the duo lane here. Blink coming in from the Geb, looking for the Ram. Down comes Yore, Aegis coming out. Going to start smacking a little bit. Will he go up into the air? Yes, he will, trying to delay some damage. And is all three shots going to hit? Yes, it will, but it won't do that much right now because X is currently only sitting on the Devo Gloves and the Warrior Tabi, while Schultzen has a really good bit of health here, plus protections. Schultzen also did pick up the Divine Ruin off of the Tiny Trinket, so it looks like the anti-healing is now going to start coming into effect here. Although we might be seeing a little bit of argy-bargy around the red buff pit here, potentially, Joden, as both teams are fully present.
Yep, we'll see if they got to do anything. Arcangelo did manage to pick up that left lane tower. Second tower of the game now. Actually, third. Mid tower dropped at some point as well. Apparently, we missed all this going on. But third tower of the game for Eternal Rally. It's going to extend their gold lead nicely in the lead. It looks like they're going to choose to back off. No little haji-baji coming out in the back of that damage buff. Kind of full, both teams representing themselves there in the jungle.
Yeah, and, you know, we're seeing these little engagements coming out here and there. If Eternal Rally is careful, and they get that succinct, synchronized engagement like they did on that first big push on the left side, that is every engagement one right there, if they're careful. But at the same time, if they mess it up even slightly, Ragnarok can take advantage because their late game potential is scary, and on top of that, they have a lot of sustain. We're starting to see the anti-healing coming out here. We're seeing things like Divine Ruin, the Odin Ultimate, etc., etc. But where is the weakening curses?
Yeah,
there is not a single weakening curse coming out, which is very surprising.
I'm surprised Schultzen hasn't picked up some sort of active yet, either in the way of going for a sprint or heavenly agility, so he's not slowed down by the likes of Nemesis or Ra when he's trying to chase people down with Recall Demons on, or like we touched on, weakening curse, because Zhonghui is actually going to be the front line as a mage, so he would actually work okay with it. Vulcan or Arcangelo, no, you don't want to curse them because you don't want to go forward. Blink Ring of Spears coming out though from Yuri under the tower once again, looking for this dive. Recall Demons is out, that's going to end poorly for the two of them. That's going to be a kill for Schultzen, as well as I believe Suzuki picking up one of those. The backline though, Schultzen got caught out. Help is here. Single doing damage though. Earthshaker going to come down denied, do some nice damage. All said and done from Shingle's Stormcall. They're going to try and break off here. Madrigadu is low. He's going to use the Swift Judgment to get out. Left side though, good damage coming down from National Barrage. Will it be enough as he's trying to get the kill to Yuri? Lunge across the wall. Going to get him out of that one safe. As now they're looking for some more damage onto Suzuki, who's hanging around that mid lane a little bit. Single's gonna pop the Rain Dance, get some healing back up. And the Spirit Hour connects onto Ram. They're looking to get this killed here now. Verb Suzuki goes on under tank that tower, and then they back off again.
I was going to say, that Yore dodge though, is that Ninja Dimmy? Like, is he playing on a Smurf? I don't know what it is with Odin's recently, but they've been doing some very daredevil plays, but looks like we're going to be seeing Eternal Rally might have slightly overstayed their welcome here as Ragnarok has returned to lane Suzuki. He's most likely going to die here. Suzuki and Single will be picking up the mortal wound, but the Nemesis will be... not Nemesis. The Vulcan will be able to evade the Nemesis. And with that, that is going to be a 1-for-0 trade, at least in that little mini fight for Ragnarok. Ragnarok trying to get some ground here, and they need a Gold Fury here, Shodan, to try and stop pulling this back, because Eternal Rally have the momentum firmly in their favor, both in levels and in gold. Just look at the level differentials here. Level 20 versus level 18, level 15 versus level 18. If Ragnarok don't catch up quick, they're just going to get steamrolled in the Fire Giant pit.
Yeah, definitely. It's really going to be a rough one going forward for them. Taking a look at the items they're building, I mean, they're not they're building correctly. They're picking up defensive items where they need to. We see the Nemesis picking up the cloak. That's going to probably be building into a Hide of the Urchin or Magi's Blessing eventually. So it's good that they're building a defensive item. Ring Spear coming on that right side. Someone just disappeared.
Up goes Rom.
Somewhere. Oh,
Rom went up into the air.
Okay. Figuring out what goes on. Sometimes confusing. Madrigado in the back though finds the kill onto Stalker. War Weaver going to try and stop. Actually going to pick up that kill onto X. That's now going to make this a 1-for-1 so far, Verb.
And in comes the Cataclysm coming out there. We'll pick up singles and arcade. In comes the Recall Demon. Stormcold is going to get charged. Is going to hit him. Freaking a bit of damage, but Yuri does have the shield to prevent most of that. Speaking of which, he's going to do it in just enough damage to allow Shelton to pick up single there with the use of the Exorcism. And now Madrigado going to be forced to retreat into the jungle here. Shelton is on pursuit, but the rest of Eternal Rally has opted to stop pushing this right side jungle, at least maybe get the Soul Lane pushed up and try and pick up the speed camp potentially as well, because they do have enough wards in good enough places to really allow themselves to not get caught. But speaking of getting caught, Suzuki to be forced to retreat out of there, as they did have the... Oh, wait, hang on. Surrender coming out here. I presume that was by Ragnarok? But the Fire Giant is going to get started nonetheless. But they could try and pull it back here, Joe.
Oh, Blink Minister is coming in now. Arcade Lockdown going to pop the Wrath Terror immediately. Find the knock up onto 3. But the damage coming down is pretty large. And Wisps are out. Trying to heal up Archangel, though. Going to find the kill on Arcade. Healing, not enough to keep them up in the middle of that ring. Healing doing absolutely nothing. Keep them up also. And them gives that healing reduction. Return Rally does have to be careful. Reinforcements are arriving. X is here as well as Mandrigado. They could look to chase a couple kills perhaps, but it looks like they're just going to kind of zone them out. Make sure the Fire Giant's not getting done up. Just wait for reinforcements to arrive.
Yeah. Right now, both of these teams, yes, they could go for Gold Fury. But both of these teams ideally want to go for a Fire Giant at this point. One for Eternal Rally, that is going to be just the boost they need to guarantee at least 3 towers, or no, 2 towers, if not 3. Maybe even 2 Phoenixes if they actually get a really good fight at the Fire Giant. But Ragnarok, as on the flip side, they need this to stay in the game, because they're having their territory pushed in, although right now the momentum has stopped while everyone goes back to base. So if Ragnarok pull this off correctly and get the picks that they need, get the levels they need, because right now their Hunter is 2nd lowest level on their team. That is not what you want.
Definitely
at all
not.
In the slightest. Hunters really need the farm. Oh, sorry, go on to him.
Yeah, the farm helps, of course, but a lot of it comes from just the physical power scaling that hunters get, as well as attack speed scaling. You can have all the items in the world. There's some of the matches days where you start with like 200,000 gold and you leave base at like minus 1 minute before minions spawn. And it's like, oh yeah, I have all these items and tons of damage, and you shoot someone, it's like, oh, I crit for 200 damage on that guy with no armor. It's like, a lot of it comes from just leveling up, and when you're 4 levels down over the Hunter, you're going to be doing a lot less than that, even if you're not behind on items. It looks like...
Vulcan. Gonna get hit with the Divine Judgment, tries to beat it. World Weaver coming in onto Madrigado will hit him, but he's able to beat that out. Redemption Shield coming out to try and mitigate some of the damage as well. In comes Odin looking for the Rock Age. Oh, actually predicts the blink and is going to be able to jump and keep up with him. Going to get slowed down by a Divine Light. In comes Yuri. He's going to cage in both Sylvanas and the Chuck. There's multiple ultimates coming here. Searing Pain, Cataclysm, and the Wrath of Terror combined with the Recall Demons. Arcade's going to miss with the Nature's Grasp. Up goes Ram with the Astral Barrage, looking for the kill on the Vulcan. Will not find it. But bear in mind, Stalker does not have ultimate, so he can't punish. Magma Bomb coming in there, dangerously grouped up here. Stalker picks up Cranabola with the Magma Bomb. Stalker, he's going to get the double kill actually on single. Nice use of the Cataclysm there by Suki. He's going to be able to give his team double kill. Can they try and find more potentially? Yes, they will. Triple kill is going to hit Arcade. Now Madrigado and X have to go back now. They have to be careful. Their ultimates are not up. They are critically low. The Fire Giant is being started. What, did they try and go for the steal? Or do they just play it safe?
They don't have
what do you think?
Gods for another 20 seconds. Steal would be nearly impossible. It would require Suzuki to miss Wrath of Gods, and as the Fire Giant has been picked up, well, clearly did not miss it. So, Ragnarok now, they're going to have to just decide going forward. Do they try to defend these towers? They let those towers go, just fall back to defend the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes are generally set up a little bit better for defense on the side of the defending team, where the tower is a little bit more open generally, as well as being in the middle of a map. The enemy team can potentially just loop around if you try to defend that tower, and suddenly you're getting pincer moved from both sides. So we're curious to see what Ragnarok looks to do exactly as they mount their defense here shortly, as I imagine Eternal Rally is going to be looking to start the siege.
Yeah. But right now, no, taking a step back here, now that we have the chance, hopefully, to look at some of the builds, we are going to be seeing that Kratabola has not been able to get the stacks he needs because they keep having to rotate. He's 0-6, only has 71 stacks on the Warlocks and 29 in the Book of Thoth at 26 minutes into the game. That is not helpful, especially on someone like a Ra as a mage who needs, and I mean his items online at full efficiency. And if you're not stacked up, that's not full efficiency. So, in my opinion, if Ragnarok could even get a small advantage, they just need farm. Because, like you said, the natural scaling will come into it in a big way at a certain point. And just put it to you this way. If the lowest level of your team is a level 14, yes, it's support. But still, level 14 versus level 20, who's going to win in that fight?
Yeah, gotta get level 20 every time, just with scaling and stuff and extra ability damage. And generally items, because they want to be ahead.
Oh, hang on.
Also, just that said and done, actually. No Broken Ring Spears. Some damage on the Phoenix. Except,
Although, in comes the Wrath of Terror being applied. Stalker going to be used on top of that. Schultzen going to be forced to back off here. He does have recall damage if need be. Going to get popped inside of the Odin Cage. Earthshaker coming in. Huge damage coming out of Coca-Cola. Schultzen picks up Arcade. The Astral Barrage coming in, but Schultzen gets a double kill on single. Madrigada going to be forced to retreat. Can Yore find the Odin Bomb? In comes Suzuki coming in for the assist. The Cataclysm kills him inside the fountain. Stalker gets the kill next there. Madrigado is going to only be forced to sit here and watch as the Titan will most likely fall. GG, well played by both teams, but Eternal Rally will be moving on to the next round.
It's a game 2. These are best of 3s.
It's a game 2.
I don't know if we ever...
Oh yeah, it is best of 3.
Established that fact, but these are best of 3s, so will be a game 2.
Oh my.
Question from that will then be, can Ragnarok pull it back around, force an ace match, possibly come back in the right words, third game, or will Eternal Rally take it in a 2-0 sweep?
Indeed, all these questions and more. Let's not wait any longer. We believe the next match is currently going right now, so we'll not waste any time. We'll get into that post-haste. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the music. Oh, it's not quite yet. Okay, we have some time then. Wonderful.
Indeed.
Cool. So, looking at that, even with that all that sustain we mentioned came with a caveat. You have to get to late game.
Yep. And
you have to not have anti-healing built against you. They had both of that. Well, not even that much anti-healing. There's Odin Cage and Zhonghui's Divine Ruin. But even then, that seemed to be enough to just completely shut them down. Ragnarok did not have a good start at all. Like, their Sylvanas went 0-8, Ra's gone 0-7. And their Ra is 0-5. As a hunter, that is crippling. As a hunter, you need to be that glass cannon who is the single most farmed in the entirety of the game. So not having that can be fairly crippling.
Yeah, down 4 levels, that's a lot of that physical power scaling, that attack speed scaling that you lose out on. Also being behind almost 4,000 gold, that's like an item and a half you're losing out on stat-wise. It's pretty rough. I mean, the damage number shows it. Arcangel did about twice the damage that X did, and over the course of a game, you don't want to end up that you don't want that to happen, because you need the Hunter to do damage. You need the likes of Rod and Arcade to be able to stay alive and keep people healed up. The healing numbers are pretty low as well. 3,000 on Ra, 2,700 on Arcade. Typically, you'll see a lot higher numbers than that being thrown around, even when there's the likes of Weakening Curses on the side of the enemy team, which they just didn't have this time around.
Yeah, and we did see a good amount of defense start to come out from Ragnarok. We saw the Hide of the Urchins coming out. We see the Magical Focus being built. I doubt that will be a Void Stone coming out of Kratabola, but most likely to be Obsidian Shard. I'm surprised that Kratabola went with the Shoes of Focus, to be honest. I would have expected the Shoes of the Magi. I mean, the 15 pen, that flat pen early on gives you so much. And to be honest, if you're going to go that full cooldown Ra, you need to be able to hit those snipes every time.
Yep.
And did Kratabola even hit a kill with those snipes that wasn't CC'd?
There's a couple hits that were multiple hits, but I think a lot of them weren't actually killing blows. It was just in the middle of a team fight, doing some nice damage, but Ragnarok had a lot of trouble with that throughout this game. They just were not able to confirm the kills, and we touched on this a couple times in the past. If you can't remove that single last point of health, it doesn't matter how much damage you're doing at any point in time. If they get away alive, they're alive. It didn't count, so you're out of luck on that one.
Indeed, and just looking at the raw damage numbers, let's actually have a gander at that. Who did the most damage in the game? That would be Vulcan.
Nah, no surprise there.
Yeah, no surprise there at all. Considering that Stalker was able to go 7-1, had a really good solo lane against... Oh, actually, Singles put up a really good fight in the solo lane, but it's just as soon as the team fight started, the Yuri cages combined with Geb was such brilliant timing on those initiations. The synchronicity was on point. That allowed Stalker to essentially go for a Hail Mary and guarantee it half the time.
You know, I think if Ragnarok had been able to hold on for another 10 minutes or so, this game could have been turned completely on its head, all said and done. Gretabola would have gotten a little bit more online, had the stacks built up a little bit higher, Warlock Sash and the like all stacked up. He'd be nice and healthy, able to stay alive in the fights, get more healing out of him. Arcade, same thing, a couple more items would have come online. And the only spot they would have had potentially on Eternal Rally for a Weakening Curse is actually on Arcanjo, and as the Hunter, you do not want to be anywhere near the middle of a fight where you'd want to be deploying that Weakening Curse.
Yeah, indeed. So, unless you've got any final thoughts, I think the game is underway now, I think. Although I could be mistaken.
But we'll keep an eye out for that one, get into it as soon as it does come up, guys. Stick around, we'll be cutting to a break, enjoy the music, and we'll be back shortly with the next game.